Hey guys, it's Greg. Welcome back to another Divi tutorial for WordPress.org. And in this video, we're going to learn how to make our blogs really come to life. We're going to redesign our blog page right here, which is usually at yourdomainname.com/blog. And we're going to redesign the blog posts. If there's one thing we're not ashamed of doing, it's putting some good, hard grunt work into our blog posts to make them convert better and get read better. And I mean, this isn't even a picture of cats. So this post about cats needs work. By the end, your blog post will look something like this. Bang. So we're going to have this awesome post title, which is dynamic, and it'll pull in whatever the title of your different posts are in your custom header area with the custom background. We have this awesome offset featured image here. Of course, your post content, you can put videos, text, quotes, whatever you want. Sidebar will feature ourselves as an author, and you can position this image however you want. Then we have a little blurb, some categories. We just have one. As many social icons as you want. You could do like 20 of them. Go crazy with that. And then the usual stuff. And the fun thing is we're actually inserting these different modules on our own. So you could put the comments over here in the sidebar. You could put the related posts, in the sidebar or somewhere else, like above the post. I don't know why you do that. But this will give you full customization to make it just like our guru here and our idol, Tim Ferriss. So I want you to be able to drag around pieces of your blog post and design it like the blog that you idolize. And that's something we really haven't been able to do before. We've been kind of stuck within the normal WordPress look of blog posts. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. And everything is going to be drag and drop fun like Divi always is. You're going back in time now. So we're going to make all that. I just fast forwarded there to the end of the video to show you what you get out of this tutorial. And it's going to be super fun. And speaking of fun, we made this whole website here with Divi in our Divi intro course for beginners. I'll leave you a link to that in the description. If you haven't learned Divi, we really take it slow and simple. And we learn how to create basic features from scratch in Divi so that you actually understand it and you're not just like blown away by all the amazing stuff in Divi, but instead actually learn how to use all of it. And Divi is super powerful. I don't know who would say it's not powerful. That guy must be crazy. But I just wanted to make it simple, and I think we did in our Divi intro course for beginners. So check that out in the description, and without further ado, I'd like you to grab your cup of coffee or whatever it is you like to drink, and let's learn how to style those Divi blog posts. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do to create a custom blog post layout is just go to a post. And of course, I know you want to have cool blog posts. One of the most important things when you put your hard-earned work into the writing is making sure that the stuff around your writing, like the titles and the sidebar, the way the comments are laid out, looks good and looks proven, like a blog you've already seen. One blog I love a ton is the Tim Ferriss blog, which is just tim.blog. He gets a ton of interaction, and that means that his format must work. So we're going to keep Tim's blog in mind and the way he styles his blog posts in mind as we design with Divi. And in the future, we should have an entire video on how to make a blog with Divi like the Tim Ferriss blog. So we're going to use this kind of thing for inspiration as we create our posts, kind of the 2/3, 1/3 look here, the image, the title up top, the date in a cool font, the comment count, which will take you to the comments, and all the interesting stuff in his post and his sidebar. All right, guys, so let's start building. So in Divi, we just need to go to the dashboard. We're going to keep that open in a different tab here in Chrome, and you just need to hover on Divi and click Theme Builder. All right, and we're going to create a template which will apply to all blog posts. Add new template, and we're going to go for the All Posts option and create template. And then when we do the blog page, we'll do the specific page blog. So create the template. All right, next then, to start editing the entire template, we're going to click Add Custom Body because that will let us design from top to bottom, and we don't need to mess with the header or the footer right now. Let's add Custom Body and build Custom Body. We're going to make this layout from scratch so that you know how everything works. All right, and it seems to have known that already, so it didn't really give us that option to choose build from scratch or choose a template. That's fine. For now, let's edit this section at the top. And we're going to go to the background, and then we're going to give it a gradient. So I want this to be kind of a cool gradient with an image on top of it. And for the gradient, you just need to click that and plus, and you can change the colors if you want down below. Let's make this panel a little bit bigger. Super easy to change the colors of the gradient, but you know, you don't need to go too crazy because it might end up looking kind of goofy. Let's just go ahead and click check to save it because you'll make your own colors on your own. And this is more just about designing the structures. Okay, now let's click on the gear again and background, and then we can do an image on top of that. And in the case of Tim Ferriss, I'm sure he has a rotating image, which he puts up every season, something like Tim looking fresh out in his backyard. Gotta love those trees right there. We don't get those in Minnesota. So let's go ahead and add background image. And for now, I just want to do like a cool pattern. So I'm gonna look up abstract background image pattern, something cool, and see what's in images. Okay, I'm actually gonna make it transparent too. All right, great. So once you find a background image that you like, just go ahead and download it to your computer, and we'll save it as something we'll remember. Okay, now let's go back to WordPress and we'll upload files, select files, and grab our new image that's going on top of our gradient. And of course, this could be a picture of you as well, like Tim does. Hopefully it's a big background image so it goes across the whole screen. And let's click upload an image and see how it looks. Cool. All right, let's get that parallax effect figured out too. So I don't know if you want this or not. And in my case, the parallax is gonna be really cool. We like that. And also for design, let's go ahead and give ourselves some spacing. We're gonna do some padding. So maybe something like 240 would be great for the value on the top. And if you click the chain link icon, it'll copy the value to the bottom too. Great job. Let's hit the check mark and let's save our progress. So with our header looking good, it's time to put the blog post title in the header. Let's click plus right in the middle of that section. And we're gonna add a row in the middle, and that row is gonna have the text module. Super simple. Okay, so obviously we don't want this text, that's just a dummy paragraph, but what we want is this dynamic content. So click on the plus pancakes here, and we're gonna go for the post/archive title. Great, now let's hit the gear here, and for before, we're just gonna do an H1, and then for after, we're gonna do an H1 closed, because that'll make the blog post title big. All right, we're also gonna go to design and heading text H1, and we're gonna center that bad boy. There you go, and let's make its font something more interesting, like maybe Roboto, or maybe Roboto's boring, so we want something like Aladdin. I'm gonna keep it simple, and one I always like is Alerta, because that keeps people alert, I think, maybe. Let's hit the check mark, and now let's bring our size of the heading text up a little bit. And I'm not much on the little details, guys. I know other designers are like, this has to be like 32 pixels. But in our case, we just want things to look appropriate. And a line height of 1.6 is usually quite appropriate. Okay, now let's hit the check mark. And now our post title will come in right here. Okay, cool, let's save. So now we're gonna go to the plus icon here, and we're gonna do a regular. And we're gonna make this the 2/3, 1/3. Now it's time to really get into the blog post content. All right, so on the left, we're gonna need our dynamic post for the blog post. And we can get that in there by clicking post content. All right, guys, now I'm not completely sure why they lay it out like heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, and then this random image, but I'll assume it's just so you can picture how things will look if you do use things like heading 4, 5, and this large Divi image in your post. It just looks kind of weird because this is such a dummy lorem ipsum version, but we're gonna move on for now that we have our post content in there. And when we make our blog post, what you put in the blog post will be what shows up in your blog post. Now that we have our 2/3, 1/3 section, we're also gonna hit a plus down here, and we're gonna do an image. And the image, we're gonna just hit check and drag it up top because we want full control of our blog post featured image, and we don't wanna just use what this content gives us. So we're gonna have this image, and now we're gonna edit it. Okay, so within our image module here, we're gonna delete the image, and that will then give us the plus pancakes. Let's click plus pancakes and make this a featured image. Perfect, and it should take up the same amount of space, and now it will pull in your blog post featured images. At the same time, we can go to design, and we're going to go ahead and go to the border, and we're going to curve the border of the image a little bit. Maybe something like 20 pixels would do it. And cool. So now your image looks a little bit more styled out. And it can get a little feisty here if you type in px, so just type in the number. Great. At the same time, we're going to go to the box shadow, and we're going to just give our image some shadow just for fun. And you can have that shadow appearing however you want. I just sort of like this 360 shadow. Okay, let's hit the check mark, and we're good to go. Now on the right 1/3 column, let's hit plus, and we're going to grab a new module for this tutorial, which is a blurb. Click on blurb. All right, and then of course, we're going to delete the title default text and click on the plus pancakes. And we're going to make this, interestingly enough, a post author. Bet you didn't know you could do that. So now we can write something like authored by, or just to be simple, written by. And that'll go before, and then you'll have the author. And it's giving us John Doe here. So let's see if it reads spaces, and it does. So you can put in your little colon and space if you want. Pretty cool. We're also going to do a really important step, which is to link the name to all of your author archives. So you can go to their website, maybe you have a personal author website, or you can just go to the archive page, which will be the list of all posts by that specific person, probably you. Okay, and check mark. Awesome. We're going to delete this content here, although, maybe you want a little bit about the author. That's cool too. And then for the image, let's go ahead and click on the pencil for the image. And we're going to give this some rounded corners also of that same 20px. Cool. And of course, it also deserves that awesome background box shadow, which is going to be 360. Oops, we didn't want it around the whole thing. We just wanted it around the image. So let's go to image and icon and give it the scroll down box shadow. Super customization friendly. And check mark. Cool. Alright guys, and that is looking a little sparse there, so let's edit it again, and I'm actually going to write in a little text about us, so we can easily say something like, John Doe loves travel. Okay, so you can write whatever you want, and check mark. Alright, now let's add one more module there, and we're going to do a list of the categories. So how do we do that? Do we have a categories blurb? No. But we do have the blurb, and the blurb has all the powers. So we can do the blurb, and in this case, we're gonna go to the title area, and instead of your title goes here, we're gonna make that plus pancake, and that will be post categories. Super cool. Okay, and we're gonna check mark it, and then not use the image, so image and icon, bye-bye, but we will use an icon, so this can have sort of a relatable tangible feel to it in the categories. So for categories, I'm just going to go with WordPress because we use WordPress. And then for the position of the icon, we can go to design, image and icon, and we can get this going off to the left. So that's pretty cool. While we're in design, we should change how the text goes also. So the text we're going to want to be spaced out a little bit more. Let's go to title text for that, and let's space out the line height so the categories aren't on top of each other. Awesome. And in the same place, you can also bring the text down so they stretch across the screen. Nailed it. All right, let's go back to content and get rid of that annoying body text. We don't need to see that. And in the same vein, after we save it, we can also go to your author area, and you can put that author image off to the left if you want to. Okay, let's save our progress because we've made a lot of it. And now let's hit plus one more time down here, and we're gonna get some social icons. So social media follow, let's see what that offers us. Right now it's just Facebook and Twitter, but wouldn't you know, we can do others too, like Foursquare or iTunes, or who even uses House anymore, but someone does, so you might be that person. And you can go ahead and just really go nuts with your icons, and that makes me happy that you can add whatever you want. Okay, so I think there's gonna be an option here once we hit the check mark to add more. It's just the plus right here for add new social network. So, and all you need to do is select from the drop down where you're gonna take people. So obviously they have YouTube, and it's so cool. You can write on Yelp. You could be any kind of person, Dribble, Flickr, and represent it from your blog and get people there right away. And I know social icons are one of the most important blog post features that you guys need. Okay, if you want to make them stretch all across the screen, I'm sure we could pick 3 or 4 more, but that's good for now. Why don't we instead go to design and make those icons a little bigger? Icon, we're going to custom icon size, and oops, that would just be one of them. Okay. So if we go with like 30, if we have to do it for all of them. So I'm just going to pop back into other icons and make them go across the screen, which will be like Tim's blog here. He only has 5 of them. Okay. So we can go Instagram, design, icon, custom size 30, and we'll do that for all of them. Check mark to get back to our list of icons. Design, icon, custom size 30, check mark, and then lastly the Facebook. We're kind of going backwards here, but you get the picture. Icon size 30. All right, and with any luck, we'd have room for one more. Let's see if we can fit one more in. So check mark, one more icon. Why don't we do like a LinkedIn? Because we have a career going and we want people to find us on LinkedIn. All right, design, icon, size 30. Oh, I knew it was going to happen. Well, you get the picture. You can still stretch your icons across the screen if you just choose a slightly smaller size. And we will keep LinkedIn for now. And if I go back and drop them all down to like 24, I think that will work. So I'll just do that on my own time right now. Okay, so now that looks great for you guys. Happy that we have that solved. Let's check mark it and let's save our progress. Okay, so to really make this blog a lot like the Tim Ferriss blog, we would want to go ahead and do things like topics. And keep in mind, you can go ahead and make a list of topics just with a text module. You'll just need to put the border in yourself or use some CSS to do it. And I would bet things like this custom most popular section are just done with text or HTML. There's usually no specific module or widget for something like this. We're also going to need a custom email subscription area. I recommend Constant Contact, MailChimp, or Aweber for that. And for that, we'll have to wait for the complete how to make a blog with Divi video, because this is just a shorter tutorial, which I think people will like. Okay, our saving is going on, and next we're gonna... Alright guys, now let's bring our cursor down to the bottom beneath our blog post content here. We're gonna add one more module below, which is gonna be the next and previous post. Let's add new row, one column. And we're going to search for navigation. There it is, post navigation. All right, cool. So to get the title into a little input box, just do parentheses, or I mean, what's that little sign there? That would be a % title. And WordPress will know to get the title of the other post. And you can do it again for the next link. So % and title. All right, we're also going to do something like previous read colon, and then that should fill itself in. Let's hit the check mark and save it. All right, and we're not sure why that's not showing up there in our post navigation. Now, if you don't have a ton of blog posts, that might be the case that the previous and the next post don't even show up. But in our case, we can rest assured that we've at least done the post navigation settings correctly. And for design, we can just make sure that in our links text, those links are not white. Okay, and those will show up once we have more content. Let's hit that plus one more time. Full width, and we're gonna now add in the comments so we can get our comments module. Super simple, and that will pull in all the comments that anyone has written for your blog posts. And all you might really want to do in the comments is go ahead and give it a background color so it stands out from the rest of the post. For this, we can do a color of maybe an off gray, which I think would just be CC with the hashtag in front of it, CC. And cool, so now this would stand out a little bit more. Let's also go to design and we'll do the spacing and give this some padding so that the content is pushed inside the gray area. All right, great, nice work. Now that we have our comment form, I think we should also have some related posts. Fortunately, we have this little, okay, that would be our previous and next post. Let's do the plus sign. It gets a little tricky when you have a lot of rows. One more row right there, and let's go ahead and just put in a blog. And when you put in blog, it'll let you have a grid of the posts that are coming up next. All you need to do is reduce the post count to something like 3. We're going to do the current category, so it'll be related to whatever post people are on. And then for design, let's go to the layout and let's make it not full width, but grid, which will display multiple posts side by side. And of course, we only have 2, so we got to work on that. We're also going to go to the content, and we're going to check out some of the elements. We're going to disable the author, we're going to disable the categories, and we're going to disable the pagination. So it's a little simplified version. All right, and hit the check mark. And of course, you could make the images curved and you could give them their own pop-out space with a little blur behind them if you want as well. For now, we'll just save it. Great job. And that's because, as you can see, I need to add a couple more posts just so this all makes sense and looks good visually as we design our custom blog post layout in Divi. Why don't we go ahead and open up the site in a new tab. And if we go to the WP admin, we'll just go to the dashboard. Perfect. Now let's go to posts, add new. All right, so when I make my post title, I like doing the image first just because that helps me decide what to call it. Let's do set featured image and upload files, and let's get just a cool image from my little library here. Okay, and clearly the only images I have are of cats. And so let's use cats. So one more image there. We can go to our pan ipsum and grab some other different types of text here. Let's generate some cat ipsum. Beautiful. And this really is what cats do. I've actually read it because I'm that bored. And when we have our image in, we'll just set it. And if WordPress freezes up like that, just X out of the featured image area, come back in, and now set our featured image. All right, paste in our text, and this is called Kittens Play Around in the Bathroom. All right, and category cats, and publish. Add new one more time. And let's set the featured image so we know what to call the post, just the way I like doing it as a blogger of many, many years. And come on down. All right, and grab our image. Might take a little while too because iPhone and Android images just take a while in WordPress. So let's X out, and hopefully it did its thing. And if your images are too big, you can always go to tiny PNG where you will compress your images. Just go ahead and click in the middle of this little box here, and then go ahead and grab an image that you want to use. Then download alt, you'll get your new smaller image. Save it, unzip it, and there's a new image. So back in WordPress, we can select files and hopefully grab a smaller image. So that would be in downloads, and there we go. This is Leroy looking like what is life? That food hit the spot. Okay, and because our images are getting a little bit big here, let's just choose a random image like our workout picture, set featured image, and we'll call this one Can't Wait to Feel the Burn. For our pan ipsum, why not make it appropriate and get ourselves some gym or fitness ipsum. They don't have that, so we can do bro ipsum. And cool. All right, so grab your ipsum. Back to the blog post. And this category could also be cats, because bros like cats, and publish. So now, guys, when we go to our site and we go to our blog, then we go to our blog posts, you shouldn't see anything different quite yet, but at least we have 3 posts. So that means back in our theme builder, we have to make 1 or 2 more moves. Let's make sure we definitely save it. Got to save that for sure. And then let's X out of here, and let's definitely save this page right here. Cool. Now let's refresh. And voila, we have an awesome post layout here, which we custom designed with our header, which is parallax. Got that post title there. We have our featured image here, which is can't wait to feel the burn. The blog post looks just as we made it. There's no funny headings or quotes because we didn't put any headings or quotes in, just the featured image. And we have a previous post. Next post would come in right here once you have one, and pretty cool. Alright guys, so our blog post looks much improved from before. There's just like 3 last little edits I want to do so that it looks like a real blog post. The first is to make the title bigger and the black doesn't really stand out on the background. Then I want to add our image here, so it's an actual image of the author, and then maybe a little styling with the featured image. So let's head back to our visual builder as per usual. And we're gonna use existing content, of course. All right, so now we're gonna just click on the text up here. For some reason we had to click edit body template. That's fine. Just starting to look a little different here. Maybe Divi passed an update to make things a little more intuitive. We'll edit the text and go to design and heading text because it's an H1. And now let's make it white and bring the size up. Cool. All right, we can also make the weight of the text bold, stand out a little bit more. And if you'd like, we can give it some shadow so it'll stand out the most. All right, so not sure why that little forward slash got in there. That would be in the post titles. We'll change that. And yeah, just so everyone's clear, this is your dynamic post title. So whatever you title your posts will come up here. Also, we can reduce the padding a little bit in the post title area just so it doesn't take up too much space. Remember, that's in spacing for the outer section. All right, and check mark to save. And we'll save it. Beautiful. That is a nice, clear, dynamic post title. Okay, now let's insert an image here. Just gonna click on the gear where our author image is. And in my Gmail, I emailed myself an image because I'm an old millennial and we still do things like that. This is Dear Traveler and I looking like total nerds at the gym. So we're just gonna download. All right. And now we will click on the image and icon section. Just click on top of that image placeholder, upload files, select files. Might be big because it's from the iPhone. One of these days, Apple is going to get the picture there and reduce their image size automatically. And if the image is taking too long in your WordPress, just X out and click it again and it should be in there. Cool, just a little WordPress kind of funny thing there. And we'll make it a little smaller just because we don't need a huge image loading on our WordPress blog post, and upload an image. All right, super cool. Now, if you want to actually put this to the side, we can go to design, image and icon, and make it on the left. And that way the image isn't ridiculously big. We can just make it a little bit bigger. So up to you, and if you want more custom sizing options, then I can provide those for you with a little CSS. All right, and check mark to save it, and save it. Cool, so now that we have a real author image in there, the last thing we want to do is make this image right here a little bit cooler looking. We can always change the position of the image through padding and margin. So let's click on the image settings, design, and spacing, and let's see if we can't give it a little negative top margin to pull it up so it overlays. Kind of cool like that. So if we give it a little more, now we're gonna have this cool image on top of our background feature. Love it. And then you can always do the same with your post content. Just give it a little negative top margin so it gets closer to the image. Pretty cool. All right, let's see how that looks. Check it. And pretty cool. So now we have this image up top, and there's kind of this cool like blended feature of the image going into the text content. So I guess that's because it's kind of going over it. The text is going over the image. If you want the image to always be on top, I think we can give it a Z index. I don't know. That's going to be one of those things that I guess is here in position. Wow, that was lucky. So you just increase its Z index to like something probably more than 0. And that will accomplish the image going over the text. So have it your way. Tons of customizations available. And yeah, that is how to move things around on your new WordPress blog post setting with Divi. All right, save it so we don't lose our progress, and great job. I don't want to take up any more of your time. I want to say thanks so much for watching here, guys. If you learned anything about Divi blog post layouts, please hit the like button and feel free to subscribe for more WordPress awesomeness. Let me know if I missed anything here in the comments. I'm always around to chat about WordPress. I'm Greg Narayan, and I'll see you in the next video.